Hi, I'm Eileen Bild. I'm with Hotel Talk. And today I have Ruble Chandy back. And we're doing a 4-part series for his book, 90 Days to Life. And we've done one interview, and we're getting ready to do the second one right now. Hi, Ruble.
Hey, Eileen, good to have this conversation. This is beautiful.
Yeah, I really look forward to this one. But first, I want to introduce you again for someone who may not have watched the first interview. This book, 90 Days to Life, it weaves a story, which I love, how you present the information as a story form versus bullets and, going through kind of a practical application. So, the story weaves practical application for breakthrough in business, but it's done in that what I call magical story form. And it's for business, career, and life. So Ruble is an international best-selling author and creator of Accelerator seminars. Then he took on an epic journey of spiritual pursuit at the age of 14. He started his first business at the age of 19. And he believes that success is achieved through the balance of being human and a sense of fulfillment through spiritual understanding. He has grown businesses from scratch and helped others to 7 figures in as little as 12 months. So in this 4-part series, Ruble and I are talking about the business strategies he outlines in the story and parables that are shared throughout his book. So I highly recommend that you invest in the 90 Days to Life so you can follow along in our interviews. So the first interview, part 1, we discussed the foundation of business. Today in part 2, we're going to talk about the spirituality in business, and that's really dear and close to my heart. Part 3, which will be next month, we'll be focusing on the psychology of business. And then the last one, part 4, we'll be talking about the neurology of business. So, Ruble, when we think about spirituality, and tied in with business, at least when I think about it, and how you present it in the book, it's all about creating our future and thinking about things in advance. And one of the things that you say is that change is the only thing that is certain, and that purpose and passion should be as one. And when you're in that purpose and passion, you're pulled toward that goal, and change comes along with that. So tell me more about that.
So thank you so much for that question. So once you have purpose and passion, I think this in the book, I might be referring to the story about finding Nemo.
Yes.
Yeah. So now I remember that. Yeah. So like you might have watched this movie, Finding Nemo. Aileen, obviously you have watched, and if you're listening, to watch that movie, there is a place. Like the dad, his name is Marvin, I think. Marvin is like trying to find his son, and he keeps on going. And he's passionate about finding, and he is purposeful in terms of, I need to find my son and save him. And then he's passionate about doing that too. So Finding Nemo, he reaches a point, he's about to reach Australia, and then very close to Australia. And then he gets into East Australian current. And that's when he feels like he's going in a really high speed, but basically it's like very slow speed. It's not as fast as you want. I think it is a very slow speed. I don't know exactly. Maybe it's half a mile per hour. It could be that, something like that. But there is a current that goes in that direction. So once you find that purpose and passion for what you want to do, then you are in an East Australian current, which is stable, which is a rhythm that you have, the Paulo Coelho quote that universe is going to conspire for you when you are aligned to universe. So when you are aligned to universe is your purpose, which is the purpose of your creation. Your purpose is the purpose of your own creation, the being you. And the passion is something that you're excited about. That's your will. So when your will and the purpose of the universe, will of the universe and will of yourself is merged, then you create amazing things. So that's what I'm talking about there.
Yes. And I want to expand on that, because you did say that there's a quote by Bernard Shaw that relates to the purpose and passion and the creation. Imagination is the beginning of creation. And I strongly believe that we think things into existence. It's not so much that things just happen. You know, there are no coincidences, things coincide. So he said, imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, you will what you imagine, and then you create what you will. So you said the universe has a will, which to me is when you get into that flow. So the will of the universe is connecting with that desire and that purpose and passion.
Yeah. So the will of the universe is your purpose in life. So many times, whatever inspires you, Eileen, whatever inspires you, it's actually the inspiration is coming from the universe, because you are sent here for a purpose. And what you are excited about, what you feel purposeful in, that is the will of the universe. So many people confuse the will of the universe. They're like, oh my gosh, I need to go find the purpose. You know, they go on mountains and they grow beard and they go around the world and trying to find purpose. By the time they are 87 years old, they might find the purpose or not. Versus what do you think right now is the purpose for your life? That is your purpose. So that is the will of the universe too. And if you are passionate about it, then your will is working for you too. So Bernard Shaw said something, you will what you imagine. That will can be interpreted in two ways, one as a noun and one as a verb. So the noun is that, like you will create something, right? You will create something. Maybe it's not a noun. Yeah, but the verb is you will. You would use your will to create what you imagined, right? So your will comes from passion. The universe's will comes from your purpose. So when the will of the universe and the will of the species, which is you, merges, then that marriage is profound. That's when everything is magical. And oftentimes we are so doubtful. Oh, is this the will of the universe? Is this the will of me? Don't worry about it. Whatever you think is a purpose, as long as it's not hurting the world, as long as it is supporting the world, as long as it's not hurting you, as long as it's not hurting the universe, this is the will. This is the purpose of your life. And then what you're passionate about, that's what you have the will for, right? So you have the will for something. The universe has will for something. Now you're co-creating something together with God. Yeah.
So essentially what you're saying is if someone has imagines something that's important to them, that purpose or the will, and the purpose is to be of service to others and to bring positivity to the world through the universal purpose and the will of the universe. So when those two match, then kind of like magic happens, and there's no need to try, because it's working together with the universe and it just kind of goes in a flow. I have a question. For people who maybe question what their purpose is, or they don't understand what it means to be purposefully living, what would you say to them?
Stop questioning the purpose. That's very simple, right? The only reason why you are feeling that you are not in purpose is because you're questioning the purpose, right? So stop it. You can stop it now. Like you could say, you know what I'm passionate about right now. So that's why I give a simple formula. The simple formula is there is a collective good. There is an individual. So there is a massive universe. There is a planet Earth, and there is you. And if what you're doing is not hurting any of these things, like if Hitler were to come to me and say, like, can you please help me find my purpose? I feel like my purpose is to kill 6 million Jews and stuff like that. right? And that there is a serious problem there, right? So like fundamental flaw, because it's not helping humanity, right? So as long as your purpose is to become a serial killer, um, then as long as it's to help the humanity in some capacity, even if you're not helping the universe directly, even if you're not helping your community directly, if it's just helping you, you're helping humanity, right? So if it is helping you and not hurting universe and not hurting the community, then that is your purpose. Just go, be selfish, and follow your purpose, right? So be selfish, literally. I mean, literally, I'm not joking here, right? Mm-hmm. Be selfish, because when you're selfish for you, you're being selfish for the world, because you are part of the world. So when you are helping yourself, as long as it's not hurting other people, your selfishness is fine. Bring your selfishness, as long as it's not hurting the universe or the community. So whatever you think is the purpose is your purpose. Just verify it's not hurting other people, right? And at that point, stop questioning. Once you know that it's not hurting other people, that's your purpose. There's no need to question it anymore.
So if someone is hearing what you're saying, they may be questioning, well, how do I define that? If I don't question the purpose, then how do I know what my purpose is?
So what are you passionate about? What excites you? What are you inspired by? And what are you passionate about? So oftentimes, for example, I come from India. So we had a lot of people who spend their entire lifetime trying to figure out what is the purpose of life, what is the purpose of my life, what is the purpose of humanity, and so on and so forth. A lot of people already spend time on these things. My thinking is, what you're inspired by today, this inspiration that you have for making money, living a more fulfilled life, being romantic, falling in love, rising in love, bringing up children, finding a job, finding better salary, whatever inspires you, making love, whatever inspires you, that is the divine inspiring you, right? So that is the divine telling you to do something. And the thing is, the moment you're questioning it, you are like, you're dismissing yourself in some capacity. So I'm not asking you to be unreasonable and illogical, but if there is a logical element, is it hurting anybody? No. Is it hurting the universe? No. It's hurting the community? No. Is it hurting me? No, it's not hurting. So that's fine. Okay. Now, is it helping one of these elements? Is it hurting? Is it supporting the universe? Even if it's not helping me, it is supporting the community. It is supporting me. One of those. Then it's ideal to have something that supports the universe, the community, and you. That's beautiful. But you know what? You could get there later. It doesn't need to be this Thursday. It could be next Wednesday, right? So you could start with what you think is a purpose right now. And then you could always ask, Eileen, to your point, you could always ask, how could I align myself to my purpose 1% more each day? You could ask that question. That's a good question.
That is a good question.
The other question is it really my purpose? Is it really my purpose? Is it really my purpose? What is happening is you're creating doubt on the creator, and you're creating a doubt on your own capacity to identify what you want to do. Doubt is not going to take you to your purpose. So that's why I think you need to definitely use logic, use the right questions, and one question that you could use is, how can I align with my purpose 1% more tomorrow or today?
And I'm thinking a good affirmation to go along with that would be, I am on purpose. So then with that question, whatever the answer is, and it's aligned with the I am being in the present as if it's already happening.
Yeah.
So
beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So you talk about the law of attraction, which kind of goes along with what we've been talking about. So if you have purpose and passion, then that imagination, what you think and put out there, is going to attract back to you and reflect back. You say imagination is greater than knowledge. And pre-creation, you see the future through the inner eye. So talk about that a little bit.
Okay. So anything that is created in the world is created two times. First, it's created in somebody's mind and their imagination. And then it is created again in the physical world. So if you look at the standard books like Secret and books like like law of attraction. There are so many books on law of attraction. The challenge is that Maslow said, one who's really good at hammer thinks everything is a nail. And if you're really good at manifesting, you think that everything, the manifestation is the nail. And if you're really good at taking action, you think that action is the nail. If you're really good at using hammer, you think everything is a nail. So what has happened to humanity is we have split into action takers and imaginers. So what does that mean? It means that people who are practicing law of attraction, a lot of them, they just say, oh, I read this book. Oh my gosh, secret, so good. 3 steps, believe and do this thing and manifest. And all of a sudden you have Mercedes S-Class Benz with a beautiful man, six-pack man with a six-pack show up in the thing. And he's like, okay, I'm at your service. It doesn't work that way. The action takers think that manifestation is complete BS. That's not going to work. Let's do some stuff. Let's be practical. Let's not live a life of living a dream and stuff like that. I need to feed my children. Let's be practical and let's do this stuff. The beauty of the people who are really successful, I work with like people from different levels, people who are about $10 million and people who are trying to work towards $1 billion companies. These people, they have both. They have manifestation and action at the same time. So they have strong emphasis on pre-creating what they want to create. And every time they are manifesting, they are not only seeing themselves taking action, but right after that, they're going to actually do that too. Right? So that is the thing that I saw as a differentiator for people who actually manifest. There are so many people that are trying to manifest green lights and, so that they could go through the traffic really fast, versus the people who really actually make it to the top. They are neither the pessimists who say, just take action. That's it. Action is the thing. Nor the people who just, oh, today I was manifesting for like 18 hours and then I went to sleep. Right? I need 6 hours of sleep though, right? So I slept for 6 hours, 18 hours I was manifesting. Neither of them like go to the top. In order for you to go to top, we need to figure out a way to integrate the manifestation and action intelligently. That's
Yeah. So let's take that a step further. So you said you need to find a way to integrate the two. Can you talk about the ways to integrate the two?
Okay. So when you want to achieve something, so Bill Gates said this something to the effect of this. Most people overestimate what they could accomplish in 1 year and underestimate what they could accomplish in 10 years. Okay. So when we are manifesting, there are people who there are people who are ambitious, who want to build like multi-billion-dollar companies. Some people want to build multi-million-dollar companies. Some people want to grow big, and some people, they want to have the best health. Some people want to have the best relationship. So we classify these dreams into 3 buckets. A long-term bucket, which is the 10-year goal. You could imagine whatever you want to imagine. And then another bucket is a 1-year bucket, which is like something that is so achievable, but slightly above achievable. A 3 months or 1 month bucket where it is definitely achievable. What happens is either human beings go to the other side and say, oh, I want to make like $1 million in 3 weeks. Or they would be like, I want to make $10 in 3 years. Versus we want to have both. We want to have very, very systematic and very challenging and ambitious goal for 10 years. We want to have a moderately achievable goal for 1 year. And we have an easily achievable goal for 3 months. So it's a different game, right? So what does that mean? What it means is when you're visualizing, when you're manifesting, you're visualizing what you're going to do in 10 years. So you have the vision in place. Then you are going to look at like the 1 year and you're actually seeing what is going to be achievable in 1 year. And then you're chunking it down, bringing it down to 3 months. What can be achieved in 3 months? And then in your visualization, you're seeing what is the one intelligent thing that I could do to get to that 3 months goal. Forget about the 10-year, forget about the 1 year. Let it happen, let it marinate. Now I'm going to do what is the step-by-step thing that I could do today to achieve that. And then you visualize doing that for a change. Instead of just fantasizing, oh my gosh, it's going to show up, versus I'm actually going to go to a dealership and steal the car, steal the Mercedes and come back. I'm just kidding. But it's an action. It's an action.
Right.
Is it a good action, bad action, different thing, right? So you actually go there and then you go to the thing and then come back, right? So you are actually seeing yourself taking action. And then once you have that potential for action, now that you have this passion for, the passion is activated, you're inspired, you take that action immediately, right? And you might not succeed that day, but next day you do this thing, the 10-year, the 1 year, the 3 months or 1 month. And then what is the one and another tiny thing that I could do today? Or what is one more thing that I could do? Maybe I could do 2 things today. Maybe I could do 3 things today. And you take action on that to move to the next level. The action doesn't need to be massive. For example, imagine you are planting a mango seed, right? You're planting a seed. And when you plant the seed, you don't know this is going to become a massive mango tree. You kind of have an idea. You have an imagination that, you know what, I have seen other people make this mangoes from this tiny seeds. I don't know whether it's going to work for me. I kind of want to try it. And then you pour that. Put that under the soil. And if you put too deep into the soil, it doesn't have enough pressure to come out. If you put too shallow, it doesn't have enough roots to hold itself, right, and grow long term. And if you keep on pulling this mango seed and like, oh my gosh, nothing has happened yet, and then put it back, it's never going to grow, right? And why hasn't happened yet? I mean, I'm doubtful. Oh my gosh, I visualized for like 17 days now. Why hasn't happened yet? It's not happening. Oh my gosh, it was totally wrong. This is not happening. That's another thing. And then even if you do all that, if you're not watering it, and if you're not giving it fertilizer or like cow dung or something healthy, organic fertilizers, what is going to happen is it's not going to grow. So no matter what we do, we need to water and give like organic fertilizers. So this mango, like seed of the mango, could transform into mango. So it doesn't matter how much you visualize, how much you imagine that mango is going to grow. If there is no water, some people get lucky because there is a rain, right? And all of a sudden they don't need to water. Like, and then they might say, oh, you don't need to water. I found another fascinating way to do this. They got lucky because there was a rain, right? Or they did it at a rainforest. There was so much rain, right? So as long as you water, as long as you actually give fertilizer, then it's going to happen. But just by watering and fertilizing, it's not enough either. We need to use our imagination to create that. So that's how I think about it.
And I think it would be important to stress not to have that fear and doubt as part of that process, because to me that would block it and that would cause some resistance.
Yeah, so that fear comes from, this is another element that's beautiful that you brought it up. Fear comes from not feeling deserving in this case, right? So if you don't feel that you deserve to have this mango tree, at night, you will figure out a way to cut this, like you in sleep, you will wake up and sleepwalk and cut this plant. And then morning you will complain, oh my gosh, that is broken. I don't know, somebody broke it at night. Because if you feel that you don't deserve to have this fascinating mango tree, you could have 250 mangoes a day from. If you don't believe that, if you don't think that you deserve that, you figure out a way to sabotage that. So that fear is just that. If fear is like, you know what, I don't deserve this. You know, I know so many people said that, but ultimately I don't deserve that. That goes back to the self-image, right? So we need to figure out a way to feel deserving of the goal or something that we want to create. If it's not a goal, you want to create transformation in the world, you want to create world peace, whatever you want to do, you need to feel that you're deserving of that. And if you don't feel deserving, the fear will creep in and do its job. You're right.
And then you stay kind of stuck in that cycle and nothing happens.
Or you will fail. If you're lucky enough, you will fail. And then if you fail, you're like, oh my gosh, I failed again. And then you will come out of it, right? So,
right. So as part of creating your future in advance, you talk about three things. You talk about clarity, certainty, and completion. So we'll finish out this interview talking about the three of those. And with clarity, you say to clearly define what you will give first in order to get back what you want. And that the key magnets are kindness, gratitude, and passion. That the goals make the world a better place. And you talked about at the beginning that in your passion and in your vision, it's always to be of service or to put out something that's going to be good, whether it's for yourself or for others. The reasons should be strong enough to persevere beyond any temporary defeat. So I like to say, if we fail up because we learn from failure what not to do. And if we repeat the same things, then we haven't learned whatever lesson we needed to learn. And then back to let go of fear in the past. So talk a little bit more about creating your future from clarity.
Clarity is everything. The clearer you know about things, the clearer you could see something, the clearer your goal is. Like my friend saying, you know what, I wanted to manifest something. I asked for a tea, and then I got a glass of tea, but the thing is, the cup had thorns in it, right? So because I didn't have enough clarity, I should have the glass with like plain glass, which does not have thorns, right? So what happens is, in other words, clarity is internal. In other words, clarity is lack of resistance. So it might sound like a completely opposite idea, but if you look at it, clarity, when you have clarity, there's no resistance. The resistance of the mind, resistance of the conditioning, resistance of the fear comes when we don't have clarity. When you know exactly, because fear is the fear of unknown, right? The biggest fear is fear of death, and which is unknown. Unknown is not having clarity. So once you have clarity about what you want to achieve, then the fear kind of goes away, right? And fear kind of goes away because it feels like, you know what, looks like he clearly knows what he wants. Looks like she clearly knows what she wants. So once you have clarity, then by itself, clarity, if you have over clarity, clarity by itself is enough to manifest. You have enough clarity, you will figure out a way to build certainty, and you will figure out a way to complete it as well. So radical clarity is what is needed.
Okay, so we have clarity, and then the next one is certainty. And you say certainty is applied faith, knowing and seeing that future in advance and feeling connected to it, and you feel worthy of it. But it also includes passion and joy. So there's no frustration, no anger, no sadness. It's really being aligned with that purpose and passion in the will of the universe. And that's when things happen without it being forced to happen. So those are the little miracles that you talk about. And you say that it happens on the cellular level, on the metaphysical level, and the spiritual level. So talk a few minutes about that.
So in the example of faith, I'm fascinated by like Jesus going to Lazarus. I don't know whether you're familiar with this scene. Like Lazarus has died three days, and Jesus goes there. And first he says, "Thank you, God. Thank you, Dad or Father, for helping me wake this guy up." Something to the effect of that. So if you pay attention to the protocol of it, not in a completely non-religious fashion, look at this person who lived 2,000 years ago. And he went to this person, a person who died for 3 days, and he said, "Let's be grateful. I am grateful that you're going to raise this guy, right, who died 3 days." So gratitude, like immediately you could see that gratitude. And then in that gratitude, you are actually seeing an element of certainty. Because where is that gratitude? He's saying that, oh, he's not saying, Father, I don't know what kind of mood you're in right now. I'm actually going to ask him to wake up. I don't know whether he's going to wake up or not, but regardless, thank you so much for trying. That's not the energy there, right? He's like, Father God, thank you so much for helping me raise this guy. He should have waited for 3 or 4 more days for me, but he screwed up the whole thing. No, but he goes with an absolute level of certainty. So that answers, like when this guy wakes up, it is in a cellular level, in a physical level, and in a metaphysical level. All level, everything is changing. Why? Because Jesus had that level of certainty or applied faith about what is possible through his thing. So even if you take Christ as a metaphorical mystic figure, historical figure, you could see that is the level of certainty that he had. And when you have that level of certainty, everything changes. But now you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not Jesus. I don't have that kind of certainty. Yes, I understand that. None of us have that level of certainty. Most of us don't have that level of certainty. Maybe there are some people who might have that. But it's not about having that level of certainty. It's just an extreme example to show you how certainty or applied faith, certainty is applied faith. Even manifestation is applied faith. You have the faith that something or someone that does not exist. This guy called Lazarus, he doesn't exist anymore. He died. Like he's going to exist again. As an entrepreneur, you imagine that Google, a company called Google that did not exist in 1990, you imagine that there is going to be a company called Google that's going to be the search engine of the world. You're imagining that. So you're using imagination with faith. Imagination with faith. You're bringing imagination and faith together to create a thought vibration. That vibration is going to be the highest vibration in the universe, because human species are the highest vibration in this entire non-universe, the human universe, the human non-universe. So because us having the highest level of consciousness, and whenever we calibrate to the highest level of that consciousness, our vibration becomes the highest level of vibration in the universe. And because of that, we are co-creating with our own God, whatever name you give to your man or woman or whoever your God is. With that God, you're actually creating through certainty, through your imagination, you're creating that. And that's what humans have been doing all this time for the last 4 million to 10,000 years, based on what you believe humans existed.
So we have clarity, and then we have certainty. So now the completion part. So with that clarity and certainty, we can align with that future end result and see finishing in an intelligent use, the terminology intelligent actions, in order to claim that victory to that 10-year end result. And throughout that process, you talk about people creating a new internal story, which eliminates the doubts and eliminates any of the potential sabotage opportunities that might come up. So it's about growing to that next level. So if someone has that clarity and certainty, what can they do to tie in that last part of completion?
Become an action machine. So intelligent action taking machine. How do you do that? How you do that is, the bigger your vision, this is something that I see in the world too. The bigger the vision you have, the less inclined you are going to take action. The smaller the vision you are, the less inclined you're willing to take action too. So if you have a really tiny vision, then you're not going to take action. If you have a really big action, you're not going to take action either. So what we need to do is, we need to create a step ladder of vision. So simultaneously, this is kind of a dual existence, right? Simultaneously, you have a very highly ambitious goal and a very tiny goal in front of you at the same time. And when you have, and then constantly, and okay, so the people who don't take action because of the vision is small, they take action when they have a big vision. People who have big vision, they take action when they see a small vision, because small step, right? So that's why this is critical. This is why I mentioned the 10-year and the 1 year and the 30 days / 90 days according to your project. So when you have to have the 90 days or 30 days, there's no excuse. There's no story. You cannot say the 10-year goal, I'm not working on this year. Like there are some people who say, I have a 10-year goal. This year, it's about planning for the next 10 years, right? And then it keeps on going like that. So once you have a 10-year goal, once you have a 1-year goal, once you have a 3 months goal, and then you are actually bringing in, based on the 3 months goal, what am I going to accomplish today? And then you are trapped or seduced into action, right? So there's no excuse anymore. You cannot say, oh, no, I was going to wait for 3 months to start the action. No. What is the one thing that you're going to do today to get to that 90 days goal? And at that point, you forgot the big picture, the medium picture. You're looking at the small picture. But what is one thing? You know that there is a bigger picture behind the scene. But so you're going to do, what is one intelligent thing that I could do to get to there fast? And then you do that, and then celebrate that. Celebrate the fact that you did that action, and then try to do two. It's like juggling, right? You take one ball and juggle with one ball like that. And then after some time, you will be like, oh my gosh, I could juggle 2 balls. And then you will juggle 2 balls, right? And after you juggle 2 balls, 2 actions, then you'll be like, oh, I'm really good at 2 balls. Let's go for 3 balls. And then you will be doing 5 balls at the same time. And then these actions, which are targeted towards the 10-year goal, targeted towards 1-year goal, targeted towards a 90-day goal, what happens is those actions will give you a reference and create a metaphor in your mind. Oh my gosh, I succeeded big in the 90 days. Let's take the next 90 days slightly bigger. Next 90 days, slightly bigger. Next 90 days, slightly bigger, until you get to that big goal. That's how I see it.
That sounds like a wonderful way to move up the ladder without a lot of stress. You know, it just kind of does it on its own, has its own, it develops its own mind, and you just kind of get pulled along with it. So, well, thank you, Ruble. I think today has a lot of food for thought for people, and I'm sure they're going to watch this more than once to really digest all the information. So if you'll let people know where they can find you.
Oh, sure, Eileen. Thank you so much for today. You could go to rublechandy.com. That's my website, rublechandy.com. That's where you could find me, and you could get my free courses on productivity. And if you want to get my book, 90 Days to Life, you could go to anywhere, including Amazon. Search for 90 Days to Life by Ruble Chandy. And the enormous number of people from several countries have got the book, and then it changed the life for so many people in different parts of the world. We were an international bestseller in 2019, and it has been helping so many people to change their lives, so many people to calibrate to their dreams and move to the next level. I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
And I'm grateful that you're able to share that with us on my show. And I look forward to the next interview, which again will be focused on the psychology of business. So now that, yes, and so now that people understand clarity, certainty, and completion, and the law of attraction, then they definitely want to listen to the next one and understand the psychology of it. And I look forward to talking more about that on the next interview. And I wish you all the best. And we will do this again next month.
Sure. Thank you for the great questions, Eileen.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Have a good day.